What's up, horror horde? This is your boy Horror Gamer back with another video for you. And as you can tell by this video, we gonna have a little discussion. We gonna have a little review. And what are we reviewing? We're reviewing the first episode of The Last of Us on HBO Max. You know, I've been building this shit up all week about how I was excited that this new show is coming out, how much I loved the PlayStation game and everything, and I was like, you know what better way than to show my love for this franchise and everything than doing a review on the live action show. So before we get into any of that, just know that your boy Horror Gamer's reviews have, that's right, spoilers in them all day, every day. So if you haven't seen this show, go to HBO Max, watch it, come back, let me know in the comment section what you think, whether you agree with what I have to say, whether you disagree. Just let me know your thoughts. So without further ado, anything beyond this point is on you. So if you haven't seen it yet and you watch it, this is on you. So what can your boy Horror Gamer say about The Last of Us, Episode 1? Dude, this shit, that shit was on point, bro. Like, the show, while the first episode strayed away a little bit from the game, it stayed true, if that makes any sense. So there's a lot of things in this episode that changed in the fact that it was different from the game, okay? They added some things that were kind of cool. They took away some things that, in a way, I kind of wish they didn't take out, but it didn't really hurt the story. So anyways, if you don't know, the story of The Last of Us is about this guy named Joel. He's a hardworking guy. He's a single dad. It's his birthday. His daughter goes out of her way to get his watch fixed that he has had that's been broke. All around that he's just so busy with trying to keep, I guess, this business that he owns afloat with his brother that, he hardly spends time with his daughter. He's hardly ever there, but he still does his best to be the best dad that he can be while he's there. Well, so happens that on the night of his birthday is basically the day that the world ends, as we know it, per se, when this plague breaks out and starts infecting people, and people start eating each other and stuff. And so in the game, it happens, she's asleep. Her uncle wakes her up and says, I need to talk to your dad. He's freaking out and everything, yada yada. Now in the show, her uncle Tommy is in jail and her dad puts her to bed and then goes and bails her out. And then while this is happening, she wakes up in the middle of the night to loud bangs and noises and all this crazy shit just happening, just happens all at once with her. But in the game, it's a build-up. So in a way, that was kind of, it kind of took away, but it didn't hurt the show, if you know what I mean. And there's this scene where they escape the house and they're driving to get on the highway to leave, and the highway is jam-packed because everybody has the same idea. So they go, and then they go back and kind of like reverberate back around, and when they do, they're driving through the city and they get hit by a car in the game, and their car that they're in flips or wherever, and you have to kick out the window and pick your daughter up because she has a broken leg. Now in the show, I think they do it a little cooler. In the show, an airplane actually fucking crashes in the city, and I don't know if it's a jet engine or whatever, comes and knocks the car over. That was pretty cool. That was a cool kind of differential from the game, which I really enjoyed that. It was a lot cooler than, just getting hit by a car, because it adds a little more holy fuck factor, you know what I mean? When you see this airplane crashing, it was fucking crazy. Now we get to the scene that they didn't stray from in the game and in the show, when they're running and Joel's holding his daughter, and they run into the soldier, and the soldier ultimately ends up getting orders to kill them both. And when he fires, I guess either the bullet goes through Joel or it misses him completely, but it ends up hitting his daughter and ultimately ends up killing his daughter. And that was a little rough. I know it hits me every time I see it on the game, and it kind of hit hard on the show too, I mean, I don't think in the show it hit as hard as it did in the game, but it's still, don't get me wrong, it still fucking hit. Like, you were just like, oh my Christ, that is some sad shit. And then they jump 20 years. Joel's a little older, he's gruff, he's 20 years older, and the world's completely gone to shit. And in the show, it's crazy because the show kind of hits you rougher than the game did, because then it pans out 20 years later and there's this little kid who, I guess he survived, and he's walking to this like outpost, and they go and get him and they test him, and it shows that he's fine, but then Joel picks up odd jobs to get these like ration tickets so he can eat. And one of the jobs is he's burning bodies. Like, they don't show this in the game. He doesn't do this in the game, but he's burning bodies in the show. And then it turns out that one of the bodies he has to burn is this little kid that, who these people made think that they were going to take care of him and feed him and give him toys to play with. And then ultimately they end up killing this kid and end up burning his body. It's fucking crazy. Like, it hits you, you know what I mean? And so, they start taking points from the game. And there's this one part, though, I really, it kind of like, they differentiate a little too far. And that's when Robert, in the game, Robert takes their guns and sells them to the Fireflies. But in the Fireflies is this group of people who are basically a liberated group who are waging war against the tyranny that is these outposts and stuff. And he steals guns from Joel and Joel's woman, and he sells them to the Fireflies. Now, in the show, it's a car battery because Joel wants to go look for his brother because his brother disappeared like 3 weeks ago or whatever, and he wants to go find him. But in the game, it's guns. So kind of there, they mess it up. And in the game, they kill Robert very violently, as you saw in the first part of my playthrough. But in the show, Robert ends up dying in a shootout with the Fireflies. It's weird how they differentiated that. I mean, it didn't hurt the show, but I kind of wish they would have kept a little closer to the game with that one. But, that's not here nor there. It didn't ruin anything. All in all, when they introduced Ellie was cool. She is, you'll get to meet her as we go more deep into the game. But you'll get to see her a little more. And you'll get to see what kind of, personality she is. They do, the actress who plays Ellie in the show, kind of, you know what I mean? She has it. She has that Ellie vibe to her, so that's really cool. But all in all, the first episode was fucking phenomenal. Like, this show has potential to be great. I just hope that they they do what they say they're going to do. They say they're going to stick to the source material on this one, and I really hope they do. And so far, they have. Now, like I said, they have taken liberties with it, and they've changed a few things up, but it doesn't change enough to hurt the show. It still makes it a good show to watch. They definitely keep the key moments in the game in the show, which is nice. Like, there was a point where I was watching it, with Miss Horror Gamer, and I was like, holy shit, that's almost shot for shot from the game. So they keep the big parts, which is nice. And they just add a little bit, or they take a little bit here and there. Nothing, like I said, major to hurt it. but enough to make it its own thing while following the storyline from the game, which you can do and it still be good. And that's what they're doing. So I'm excited to see how this plays out. I think I'm going to do a weekly review on each episode, because this seems, like I said, this show is going to be something that has potential. It has potential to be a great show, and it has potential to really, hopefully, turn it into a multi-season series, which would be nice. Because I know there's a lot of The Last of Us story that they said that they want to do, but they did say that they're not going to add their own shit. They say they're going to follow the story from the game, which is great, because that's what we need. And they're doing it right. So, final verdict. What would your boy Horror Gamer give The Last of Us Episode 1 on HBO Max? I'm going to have to give it a solid 9 out of 10. While the liberties that they took kind of lowered the score a little bit for me, it wasn't enough to hurt the show. And I have a feeling that, like I said, this show is going to blow us away. I'm actually really excited to see where everything goes, you know, how this story goes, and how they're going to change it and tweak it a little bit to make it their own, but still follow the story. I'm very interested. I'm also very interested to start seeing more of the monsters. Like, they really got the whole zombie vibe going from the game. Like, the relentlessness of, like, the infected, they did a damn good job getting. And it shows in the one scene where Joel is running with his daughter in his hands, and the one zombie infected person is chasing him, and he's literally running through everything, tripping over shit to get to him, like the animalistic rage and like the pursuit of want to eat them. They caught, and it was phenomenal. And my girlfriend, Miss Horror Gamer, was even like, oh my God, you know, when they were showing this chase scene, it was just so well done. But yeah, final verdict, your boy Horror Gamer gives it a solid 9 out of 10. Excited to see the series, excited to see how it plays out, excited to see more of Ellie. They really didn't bring Ellie in until almost the end of the episode. So, with all that being said, Horror Horde, I love you guys. Thank you guys. And until next time, this is your boy Horror Gamer saying, as always, don't fear the darkness. Embrace it.